All right, so welcome back to the Kids to Love podcast. I'm excited to have Jeremy Long with us today. Jeremy is no stranger to Huntsville. He has, I want to make sure I get the name right, the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. And if you are in that world, you know how big this thing has grown. And what I love and what you may not know is ever since you had the vision to do this, you guys have supported Kids to Love from the beginning. So it's been great for us to kind of be spectators on the side to see your vision start small. And then I think now you have every available space at the VBC and probably would go outside if weather permitted.
Almost, yeah. And if there was a bigger building, we would be in it.
Yeah.
There's no limit to what we could fill up. So
yeah. And what I love, if you're not following their Facebook page, you should. What I love is it's Alabama's largest celebration of all things geek. I love how you just embrace that. The expo will feature 50-plus celebrity guests, 200-plus booths, the vendor hall game room, 3 panel rooms, contests, and much more. And what I love about it is you say, you just kind of embrace the geeks. But when you look at the makeup of Huntsville and everyone who not only shows up from Huntsville, but those who, this is kind of a pilgrimage that they do this every year. I love how you just embrace the uniqueness of those that support this expo.
Absolutely. And I mean, the thing is, used to, calling someone a geek or a dork, that was a slur at them. But now, I mean, you can geek out about anything.
Right.
People geek out about cars. People geek out about sports, And so we just take the nerd fandoms and,
fandoms. I love that terminology.
Well, they're billion-dollar movies,
right.
Marvel movies, Star Wars, all sorts of stuff. It's big stuff. So there's lots of fans, and this is something that people can just come and celebrate it. It's, Disney World for us nerds and geeks and normies come too. Normal people can come.
Yes.
People that enjoy a good show.
Normal people are invited.
Absolutely.
You're welcome to come and geek out on it.
You got to have that balance.
Yes. Well, and what I love is, people take this so seriously. They dress up in costumes and embrace it. I just love what I love is the community you've created with those who have this pop culture.
It's pop culture passion.
Pop culture passion.
Yeah. And you said earlier, and you nailed it, you said it's kind of a pilgrimage. Last year, we sold tickets to 41 different states and 3 different countries.
Wow.
So it's not just North Alabama, Tennessee Valley coming. It's people from all over the country. We get some really big names that people want to fly to see.
Right.
We go pick guests up from the airport, the special guests, and we see, fans flying in and flying out at the same time too. And so people come from all over for this, and it's just a fun community. And a lot of people, they came for whatever reason, and then next year they brought some friends, and then the next year the friends brought some friends. And so it's just, we're spreading and building it and just enjoying it the whole time.
So we're going to get to who all's coming. Of course, if you've got your tickets, you probably already know. But we're going to get to that because you've really brought in some big-name celebrities through the year. But let's go back to when you first had this vision. Because what I love about what Jeremy's doing, really, I see so many alignments with me bringing the vision of how we're serving. We started small, and then we grow and we grow and we grow. This really was an idea that you had. This is the 11th year. And, I'm not going to ask you the question, do you think it would be this big? Because absolutely.
No.
Did you not?
No, heavens no.
Really?
I thought it would be something neat to do on a weekend. Well, like you said, you started Kids to Love because you saw a need for it. I started the expo because I saw a need for it.
Right.
Different needs, but it was. I've always been into comic books, and as a side gig way back, I would buy and sell comics. And I started doing shows as a vendor, and I would go drive to Birmingham, drive to Nashville, Chattanooga, Memphis, Atlanta, whatever. And every time I'm like, why is there not something in Huntsville?
Why am I having to drive to Nashville and Birmingham and Memphis?
And the fun thing too is that's a community within the community itself are the different vendors, and so I made friends with them. And so I did a show one time. It was just south of Nashville, and it was a Saturday, Sunday show. It was a 2-day show. I missed my then 5-year-old soccer game to go to the show that morning. And by noon, there was like maybe 30 people that had come through the door. There was more vendors than there were patrons. And I'm like, oh, they didn't do anything. What kind of advertising did they even try? And so I packed up and left. I'm like, I'm not going to miss dinner. And the whole way home, I'm just thinking about all these things they could have done, free advertising, or, Facebook posts and Craigslist back in the day when Craigslist wasn't super scary. It was just slightly scary.
That's right. Yeah. Moderately scary.
And so I get home and my wife says, I tell her about the show, and she was like, well, is it something you just need to do your own show? This was March of 2015, and a year to the day later, we had our first show. Because I told her, I said, I've kind of been planning a show for the last 2 hours. And, so we launched it's funny because we launched the Facebook page. I had found the JC's building. So, okay, there's a nice little building, about 12,000 square feet. We launched the Facebook page, and then we start getting these messages. I want to sign up to be a vendor. How do I do that? I'm like, oh crap, I got to write up an application for...
Oh, there's that part. Yeah, let's figure that out.
I'm like, I was trying to just field of dreams it, and just build it and they'll come. And so the first year we had no special guests, about 12,000 square feet, just vendors and artists and authors and stuff, cosplay. I thought it was a good idea to put a stage right in the middle of the JC's building and have live music. It was a terrible idea because it was very loud and people really hated me for that. But you live and learn. But we had about 1,500 people come through that first year. And I was like, okay, this is something people want. So we outgrew the JC's year one, went to North Hall, now Saturn Ballroom at the BBC. We're there for 2 years. And then we moved into South Hall and got all of South Hall. And now we're South Hall and East Hall. And fun fact, next year we add North Hall, Saturn Ballroom,
oh my gosh,
and probably Mars Music Hall next year too.
Wow.
So your comment earlier about taking over the entire VBC, we're like one arena away from doing that.
Yes.
So
well, it's happening. I mean, it's happening. Stay tuned for 2027.
Right. And so it's grown tremendously. And my philosophy behind the show is always, I want it to be kid friendly or family friendly. And that's not only content, that's accessibility. So every year since year one and for forever, kids 12 and under are free. Because a family of 4, if you've got 2 little ones, you don't want to have to pay adult prices to take them. And we keep our tickets as low as possible for everything that we provide. And so ticket prices are low, kids are free. And also content is all kid friendly too. And I just want a fun family event here in Huntsville, and it is very stressful, buttoning up all this last details. But I mean, find me at the show, I can't stop smiling. Yeah. It's so fun because once the show starts, if there's any problems, this is my philosophy on problems. If there's a problem, there's one of 2 things. I can either fix it, and I do. If I can't fix it, I do not care. Because
that's a great philosophy.
Well, people are like, it's raining outside. And I'm like,
yes, it is.
Oh no, stay inside.
That's right.
There's my advice for you.
Yes.
I've got to walk to the hotel. Okay, enjoy a pre-shower.
Right.
But there's certain things you can't fix. 2 years ago, I had 26 flights canceled the day before the show because of weather in Texas. People coming in American through Dallas or United through Houston. I had so many flights canceled. And so all day Thursday, we were working to reroute people, rebook flights. We had 3 people that couldn't make it until Friday. So they missed Friday, but they were there for Saturday, Sunday. And then we had 1 guest that had to cancel because he could not get in. And so there were problems that we could fix, and we did. And I had some people that came on Friday night that was there for one of the guests that couldn't make it until Saturday. And they're like, I'm only here tonight. I'm like, are you local? They were like, yeah. I'm like, here's a weekend pass. Come back. And they came back on Sunday to get, to meet the person that they wanted to. It's not their fault. It was nobody's fault that happened.
And you couldn't help it. You did everything you could.
Right.
I mean, life's.
Exactly. But if there's some way that I can fix the issue, I will. If it's giving someone a weekend pass so they can come back, absolutely.
So to date, who has been one of the most fan favorite guests that you have had?
There's been so many, and there's so many different fandoms. I mean, we've had William Shatner twice, which is a weird statement to say. I've been known notoriously back in 2019. A fan asked me at my panel, "Can you get William Shatner?" And the words, "William Shatner will never be at my show. He's too big."
Oh, he's too big. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
Bill, as
Welcome.
I'm allowed to call him.
Yes.
Super nice dude.
So you're like that now.
Yeah, I've seen him at other shows, and he remembers who I mean. He's 94.
Yeah.
But he's sharp
That's
as a
crazy,
tack.
yeah.
So he's been a favorite. Jonathan Frakes. I'm not just doing Star Trek, but Jonathan Frakes was a favorite. We had Weird Al last year. Big time favorite there. And it just depends on the fandoms. You know, people love all sorts of the guests. And, you know, we've had a bunch of Disney princesses, Jodie Benson and Paige O'Hara and Linda Larkin, and Irene Bedard. That was Jasmine, Belle, Ariel, and Pocahontas. And everyone loves, I've seen grown women cry meeting their Disney princesses.
Yeah. Well, they just want to be part of their world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot of fun. And that's some of my favorite things. Also seeing, like, you know, people my age, or even like people my parents' age, introducing their kids and grandkids, like, this is the stuff I loved, you know, and so just passing the torch, so to speak. You know, it's great. But as far as, you know, a favorite guest, there have been so many. Last year we had Lou Diamond Phillips. I spent an hour talking to him after the show, and he was like the coolest dude. So many great conversations from the Expo.
I love that it's, you know, because, you know, Lou Diamond Phillips, he's still very popular. I mean, he's still getting cast. And God, what was the one of his recent shows with the...
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I'm terrible with remembering.
With it was the Western. Come on,
Yeah.
guys, help me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Should we go to the Google machine?
Yeah, I'm
real quick?
cheating. I'm cheating.
Yeah, please stand by while we research what we're talking about in a podcast. Longmire.
I knew it was
Thank you.
one word.
Chris wins the Google battle today. Longmire.
Chris must be on the Wi-Fi because
That's right,
my
that's
cellular
right.
service is
Look.
terrible in here.
But yeah, Longmire.
Yeah.
And I loved his character in that. And when he surfaced as that character, I thought, you know, God, I hadn't seen him lately, but I mean, he's still just as solid today. I mean, so he's also creating new generations of fans, which, you know, and then, you know, when I saw Weird Al last year, I thought, now that's just interesting because there are people that are going to completely want to meet him.
Oh yeah. Oh, he was very, very busy all weekend. Probably the nicest, quietest person. Yeah, I know. It's what he is on stage.
Yeah.
Is not.
That
He's
public
like
persona.
he's like such an introvert.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Or maybe he's not, but he's very explosive on stage. So that, like, but he was very, very kind, very warm, and you know, very accommodating with his fans and everything. And I mean, and then he was here in concert a few months later, and you know, we all went. Both my boys, they're 11 and 16. They love Weird Al. I'm like, this is my childhood too.
That's right. That's right.
And so, yeah, there's a whole family of Weird Al fans.
Well, and what I love is, you know, your kids, like my kids, have grown up, and this is just a part of, this is what we do.
That's right. Yeah.
And we do whatever it takes.
Yeah. It's funny because it's not normal. You know, I'm like, we'll be at dinner and I'll have a phone call. I'm like, hang on, sorry, it's Lou Ferrigno. Or, you know, it's an agent or whatever. Or I've got to book, you know, Tom Welling's flight, you know, whatever. And this next week will be very weird with things that I will say because it's not normal, you know, to have these kind of conversations. And that's one thing I love about the show is, you know, so many people, the special guests come and you get to meet them, they get to meet you, and on a personal level, you know, I'm not asking them about their characters or whatever. And a lot of the guests, when they find out that the Expo is not my full-time job, that my real job is missile defense, all of a sudden they just want to like grill me.
So then they're geeking out on you. Yes.
They're like, what? And so I don't pick guests up from the airport anymore. We have a huge transportation team that pick them up. And I always tell all my drivers, slow down past the Space and Rocket Center, and warn people too. Like, hey, up on your right.
That's right.
You may want to get your cell phones out. Like, and they think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, we pass by it every day. We take it for granted.
It's like, who cares? We went out to LA a few years ago for spring break, and a buddy of mine who's an agent, he spent a whole day just taking us around. And he and I realized when we visit each other, we switch roles. Out there, nobody cares that you're an agent. Everybody's an agent, but he's a really good one. Here, nobody cares that you're missile defense or NASA.
That's right.
It's more impressive to find
everybody's a rocket scientist.
Right. It's more impressive to meet someone that works at Target because there's not as many of them. But, out there, nobody cares when you can see the Hollywood sign. Here, nobody cares when you pass the Saturn V.
Right.
And so it's like, we take it for granted. But when I'm out of town, I sure tell everyone, missile defense.
Yes.
But yeah, so they think that's very interesting. And a lot of the guests want to go out to the Space and Rocket Center and, see things. And so I'm able to provide that because a lot of them get in late on Thursday, but the show doesn't start until 3 on Friday. And so we'll have some groups go out to the Space and Rocket. So if you want to meet a guest, maybe hang out at the Space and Rocket Center. Maybe. Go support the Space and Rocket Center.
There you go.
But yeah. So, and they think it's cool. And a lot of people don't know. They just think NASA, they think Houston and Florida. And I'm like, no. We are the Rocket City.
That's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
We're Huntsville, we're kind of a big deal.
That's right.
So let's talk about who you have coming this year. Who's on tap? Who are the big names, and then who's some that maybe are going to be the sleeper celebs?
That is a great question, that last one, because there's always guests that take me by surprise after the weekend's over.
Yeah.
Like I booked Lou Diamond Phillips last year just because that's a cool enough name. I loved him in Young Guns and La Bamba and everything, but he was great, super personable with all the guests or the fans and everything. But this year, I mean, the big names off the top, Christopher Lloyd coming, and that was actually a late ad. His people reached out to me 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And said his schedule just changed. He's looking to add a mid-April show. Are you interested? And I was like, No, I don't want Christopher Lloyd. Yes, of course. Who's going to say, no, Christopher Lloyd, don't come to my show?
Right.
So he came, and that's a big name. Tom Welling from Smallville. Jaleel White. Steve Urkel. He was a late ad because his schedule freed up a little bit. But then Ming Na Wen. I'm super excited. It's continuing our tradition of Disney princesses. She was Mulan. She was the voice of Mulan, but then she was also in Star Wars and Marvel, a big name. But Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi is, in my opinion, he seems like one of the coolest guys ever. He has a nonprofit that he does called Nerd HQ that they promote mental health, mental wellness. Whatever, I guess they're synonymous. Yes. And his Nerd HQ is coming out too, and they'll have a table out in the fan area passing out information because they basically raise money so that they can provide mental, not training, but therapy sessions for free to people. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so, because Zachary Levi has gone on record, that he struggled with his mental health and everything. And so he's obviously a big supporter of it. And in all his movies...
We should have a conversation with him while he's in town because we've got some similar interests there.
I may or may not have mentioned Kids to Love to Nerd HQ.
Absolutely.
So I will connect you. You come out, I will connect you.
Yes.
But in all his... If you've ever watched any of his movies, he's a good dude. The last movie he made was Sarah's Oil. It was a great movie. All of his movies are they make you feel good. He did Underdog, the Kurt Warner story. I mean, I can do a whole podcast about Zachary Levi. But yes, I'm very excited to meet him. That's where that question was. But yeah, and then we've got a ton of great voice actors. We've got a couple people from Full House coming. We've got Dave Coulier and Andrea Barber, who was Uncle Joey, and Kimmy Gibbler. So that's fun.
Kimmy Gibbler.
Yeah, she had good redemption in Fuller House, I guess.
There you go. Yeah.
And but who I know we have a couple of big Power Rangers coming. Always, when I'm trying to put out the list, I always forget, we have over almost 60 guests.
Yeah.
And we have Chris Sarandon coming, who was the voice of Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, but also Prince Humperdinck from The Princess Bride. Then he was in some horror stuff in the 80s and 70s too. But, seems like a really, really nice guy. But yeah, I think the one, and I actually just met him back in January, Christopher Lloyd, super nice guy. And he's on up there. He's north of 80, but still sharp as a tack and very, very nice, very good with fans. So yeah, there's lots of good names coming to our little Rocket City.
I love that. And what I love about Jeremy and his heart is you have stayed true to the give back component.
Absolutely.
And you've been very upfront and transparent with all the supporters that come to the show. And we appreciate that you have continued year after year to sow seeds into the work we're doing to help quality of life and serve kids in foster care. That has been such a blessing to our kids.
Well, I've always had the thought that if you are given a platform for any reason, you should use it for good. Maybe it's the comic books I read as a kid. I also have really great parents. And so I thought first, early on, okay, we've got this thing that we're going to do. How can we use it for good? I mean, yeah, it's cool to have a neat, show in town, but what good is that if people just come and just have fun for a weekend every year? Like, how can we make this into something more?
Yeah, make it matter.
And, you came to mind. And so I was like, okay, that's cool. Because, some shows they'll partner with Big Brothers, Big Sisters or United Way stuff, and that's great. But I want to keep it here. Mm-hmm. I want it just to go back into our community. And so we started, and the first year, I remember, I think we wrote you guys a check for like maybe $1,000 or $1,500. And at the time, I was like 2 years removed from working in restaurants. And so that was like 2 months, or not 2 months, but it was like, that was a good bit,
yes.
And then now, writing people ask me what my favorite part of the show is. And I always joke, my joke answer is when it's over.
Yeah.
When I can breathe.
Right.
But then I follow that up with, honestly, a day or two after the show, Emily and I go out to Kids Celeb and we write them a check for all the good stuff they do. And then that gives me a chance to tell them, and I don't scratch the surface on what you guys do, because it's kind of like saying, what's all in the encyclopedias?
That's true, yes.
All the things.
I'd say that's kind of accurate.
Yeah, I mean, you guys do so much, but I give them highlights. I tell them about the warehouse full of, material that you give to, foster families. I tell them about the backpacks and the Christmases and, the big stuff. And then, this building that we're in now, it's, and people love it. And I'm like, and it's making a difference right here.
Absolutely.
And those national organizations, great.
Yeah.
But to know that we're making a difference right here at home and affecting people's lives. Oh, Davidson Farms! I just go ham talking about Davidson Farms to people because it's such a cool transition in lives. And so people love it. And then people ask, well, what can we do to help? And I'm like, there's money. And so, yeah, it's great talking and telling people about all the great work you guys do. And it was like a no brainer. Like we started out year one, and then year two, I was like, Well, that worked well. Let's just do that again. And it's just been every year.
Yeah.
Even in 2020, when we had a show in July of 2020 during COVID, and it was a down year, but we still did it, and we still were able to, support you guys during that crazy, crazy time. Seems like a fever dream.
It
COVID.
does seem like, and thank goodness we are 6 years removed from counting.
Was that a thing? Really?
Yeah, no,
It was
a thing.
It
It was a thing. And if you have trauma from it, we can help you with that, by the way. What I love is, the resources that you guys give. You just come and say, hey, we want to support you. And speaking of our girls at Davidson Farms, that's 100% ran by our community that supports it. And our girls out there, what I love is every day we're able to take care of them, and they have no idea the community that has their back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love. We had one young lady come in recently. A judge had called us, and a bad situation, gave us custody, said, how soon can you get to my courtroom? And I'm like, give us a couple of hours. We're on the road. And so we picked this young lady up, and she just been through hell. I mean, that's just the only way I can say it. And her favorite color's yellow.
Okay.
And so one of our mentors took her shopping because she literally came in with the clothes on her back. So she comes to our warehouse, and she's like, I don't know, at some discount store, TJ Maxx, Marshalls or something, and she pulls out this yellow cardigan sweater, and it's got the big red sale tag on it. It was like $15. And if you could see the smile on her face from that $15 sweater, and we're able to do things like that, and because, $15, we think, gosh, that's not that much. But what that does for that young lady, she just was illuminated ear to ear, So when I think about gifts that you guys give, that here, we love what you're doing, we trust what you're doing, use this however you need it. It gives us those untethered funds to meet the needs of kids that, most of the time it's food on the table and a roof over their head. But for her that day, it was that yellow sweater. Yeah. And I'm like, they wouldn't even call me and ask me about something like that, because they know that I'd be like, yeah, the answer is yes, get the sweater. So we just appreciate you guys. For those of you, in case you have been living under a rock and you don't know, this year's Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo is coming up April 17th through the 19th. When you guys came in and did the check last year, and I was saying, oh my gosh, we got a podcast, I got to get you in. And I was talking to Jeremy before we started recording. I looked at the calendar, I was like, oh, we need to do that fairly quickly because it's coming up, and it's coming up quick. So thank you for what you do. And I can't wait till you, next year, taking over the entire VBC and then some.
We're going
to, what a dream come true.
I have some stuff in the hotels and everything. But yeah, and one thing too I wanted to add, we love giving, and it's great to see others following suit. Like the 501st, the Star Wars guys that come and they raise money during the show, they come out separately and give you guys a check.
Yes.
My buddy James Bruce that runs the toy show in September at the JC's building, he's started it too.
Yes.
So it's, they say imitation is the best form of flattery, but there's nothing cooler than saying, oh, hey, you guys gave them money, so we do too. Fantastic. I don't care your reason. Yeah.
And we think it's so cool when the Star Troopers show up, and it's because we're like, yes, we'll take your money. So they were at the Havoc game, and of course, in their gear, and I'm kind of like, I know you guys because you know us. So I love the small world of it. So thank you so much, and we just wish you guys the best of success with this year's show.
Well, thank you.
We know it's only going to get bigger and better, and thanks for your continued support, and congratulations on chasing the dream. I love that, too.
We're just going to see where this rocket goes.
Quite literally.
Thank you.
Awesome. For more information on them, you can find links through our social channels, Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. If you're not following them on social media, do that. That's where they make all the announcements of all the details of the shows, the guests that are coming, when last-minute guests come. So you need to be following their social channels, too. For more information on what we do and how we serve kids, you can always find that at kidslove.org. Thanks for watching.